All right, today for body maintenance, we're going to talk about the quads and how they can cause what we've known as Osgood Schlatters. I actually have Osgood Schlatters. When I was younger, I played a lot of basketball, a lot of impact on the quads, and they get congested. And what happens is it takes all the tension in the quads here, runs over top of the patella here, your kneecap, and it attaches down here on your tibial tuberosity, which is the top of the long bone in your lower leg. That chronic tension just keeps pulling on that tibial tuberosity, and it stimulates what are called the osteoblasts, which are the little organelles in your bone which lay down bony matrix. And those osteoblasts just keep laying down more bone and more bone and more bone until it increases the relative length of that system. So it takes the tension off the system by adding length to it. And what you get is you get this nice little big bony protrusion coming off the bottom of your knee. It's not a bad thing per se, but it's really, really painful when you're younger. When I was in middle school, I couldn't kneel down, just constant pain all the time. And believe it or not, there's actually a lot of times you have a lot of what's called patellar tendinosis that goes with that, because it's the chronic stiffness of the quad. So your patellar tendon, that tendon that runs over top of your kneecap, is under constant strain and stress. So it feels like it's just going to rip right off all the time. So today we're going to work on that. We're going to try to get that patellar tendinosis out of there if you have any inklings of it. Or if you're dealing with Osgood Schlatters starting to form up, we're going to try to get that out of there as well. But it all takes place up here, upstream on the quad. To work on that, we're going to start with rolling it out first. So you've got a whole bunch of different options. We have your regular foam roller, which is a high-density foam roller, 3 feet long, 6 inches in diameter. We've got a PVC core roller. This is a little bit more aggressive. It's got the bumps and the grooves on it. So it's the next step up from the foam roller. A little bit more expensive, but it's a little bit better. Then we've got another PVC roller. This is a PVC tube with a yoga mat on it, so it's not nearly as much cushioning, but it really gives you a good hard density, good smash on the quads. Next level up is what we call the Battle Star. You can get these from Rogue Fitness, they have them. And basically what it is just a bunch of like rollerblade rollers, wheels put together on a shaft. And this is really super aggressive. And then we have the Supernova. You can get these from Rogue Fitness as well. This is a ball. So based upon your level of density as a person, if you're a really high-level athlete, you've got a lot of stiff musculature, you've got to go with a denser apparatus to get into the quads. If you're new to exercise, you don't exercise a lot, your quads are kind of soft, you don't have a lot of muscle mass, you'll be able to go with a softer, like a foam roller or the PVC core with the foam on the outside. I'm a pretty dense athlete, so I'm going to go hard and heavy. I'm going to go with the Battle Star. But it doesn't really matter which one you use. The technique is basically the same. We want to roll the quad from right above the kneecap, right up to the front of the hip. We want to make sure we spend lots of time right down the front of that quad, and then spend a little time on the outside and a little time on the inside. But we're looking for about 3 to 5 minutes per leg on this one. So, starting off on the Battle Star, I'm going to start right in the middle of the Battle Star. And this technique is the same whether you're using the ball or any of the rollers. Start right in the middle. And you're going to try to put as much pressure down on that roller as you can, and then roll up and down from the top of the thigh all the way down to right above the kneecap. And I'm going to take my time and let the tissue adapt to the tension. So I don't want to be in here going really, really fast, because that doesn't give enough time for the tissue to adapt to it. You want to penetrate into the tissue and then relax in and just get a really good smash on that tissue and let it adapt to the tension and the pressure. So after I work down the middle, spend a minute or two there, I'm going to turn my leg out a little bit, work into the kind of the adductors, into the groin area, and on the inside of that thigh. And then I'm going to turn to the outside, same thing, spend another minute or two, roll on the outside edge. If I find a spot that's really stiff and restricted, I'll know because it's really painful and uncomfortable. I'm going to pin that spot down, and then I'm going to try to flex and extend my knee and put what's called a tack and stretch on it. What that does is that stretches that tissue out a little bit as you're smashing it down. After I spend 3 to 5 minutes on one leg, I'm going to do the exact same sequence on the other leg. Now that's the first part of the sequence, is making sure we get a good smash into that tissue and get that connective tissue broken up. After we break it up, we want to add length to the system, because remember, that's what those little osteoblasts are trying to do. They're trying to add length to it. We've released the tension, now we got to add length. So we're going to do what's called the couch stretch. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the wall as our guide, and it's going to be our helper. Now if you're really, really stiff in your quads, you're not going to be able to go really close to the wall. If you're more loose and you've got more range of motion, more length, you're going to be able to go really really close to it. So I'm going to set up in two different ways here. First one is if you're a stiff athlete, and you can use a big pad, you can use a pillow, whatever you want underneath your knee is fine. You don't have to make this any harder. A lot of times you can just take a couch cushion off the couch, put it on the floor, and use that down. You're going to put your toe so it's going straight up on the wall, and put about a foot length of distance between your knee and the wall. Once you've got your knee pinned in and your foot pinned in on the wall, you're going to bring yourself up, and then you're going to try to get your hip to be right over top of that knee. So I'm not leaning forward here. I want to be in a vertical position from my knee all the way up to the top of my head. And I'm going to hold that position for 2 minutes, a full 2 minutes. Now, if I'm not feeling a heavy stretch there, which I'm really not feeling that heavy of a stretch, I can move closer to the wall to add more tension into the system. So I'm going to move all the way in now. This is the ultimate, what we want to get into, is be able to get that knee right into the corner of the wall, have that toe going vertical, bring yourself into the up position, and then you're going to drive your pelvis back so your heel is going right up into your glute. And again, I'm going to stay as tall as I can from my knee to the top of my head, and I'm going to camp out. Now this is a really heavy stretch. I'm feeling it pretty heavy, but we want to stay calm in the face. Make sure we're making it look like it's easy. We're going to camp out there for 2 minutes, and then we're going to come back out, and we're going to switch legs and do the exact same sequence on the other side. You do that sequence like that, do it every single day for the first week, and then work it every other day after that. I pretty much guarantee your Osgood Schlatters symptoms will go bye-bye, and your knees will feel great. Even that patellar tendinosis you have, that chronic stiffness, same thing. Do it every day for the first week, and then after that, every other day, and it'll be bye-bye.